Hi, everybody. This is Ebby Salinas of Crowology and Crow Readings. I'd like to welcome everybody to our segment today. Today, we are going to be looking at Brad Pitt. Okay, now, on our last video, I brought to mention how Mr. Pitt has gone through the air signs as far as marriage and dating by going through the Libra, the Aquarius, and the Gemini. He also had a relationship with Juliette Lewis, who's a Cancer, right on the cusp by Gemini and Cancer, and is currently dating a Pisces, so two water signs. I wanted to swing back to this because I thought that he was an interesting subject to talk about. I'm not going to talk about, um, what works, what doesn't work, things like that. What I find really interesting here with Brad Pitt and his relationships is this. He is a Sagittarius. His birthday is December 18, 1963. And as a Sagittarius, they rule the ninth house. He is the traveler. He is the explorer. And he does happen to have a lot of planets in that house, which makes him want to be not only of service to others, but to be very innovative. And anybody who knows anything really about him knows that he's very interested in structuring of buildings, architects, and wanting to help those who are less fortunate, right? So very typical Sag here. And in having a conversation with one of my friends, we were discussing how somebody could see that his relationships may appear as if he doesn't know how to have a relationship. And I think that it's a kind of a myth that the only successful relationships we have are the ones that we go into and we're in for a long period of time. And like those are called successful, when in actuality, Brad Pitt's relationships were most probably all successful. He's had a very diverse, diverse partnerships with different partners, but they do share a lot of commonalities, especially with the air signs. So he was probably getting a lot of mental stimulation there, ideas and forward thinking coming through. And being that we are now, especially now, with Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces, that dreamy state, it makes you kind of think that for those who are prone to wanting to escape or wanting to look at things from more of a dreamy point of view, which who doesn't? I mean, this is where we build our reality from. It. If you dream it, you can be it. It seems to me that he, looking at just what we get off social media, he seems to be jumping all around. But in actuality, that's our perception. He is somebody who is in it for as long as it works. And when it no longer works, he moves on. And I mean, really, is that such a bad thing? And what we did here was we put down 5 of the tarot cards. The first 2 are recent past. The middle one is today, and then moving forward. And the question that I put here was, what is Brad Pitt's position or beliefs on personal one-on-one relationships? And in the past, he does recognize with the 5 of Cups, he does recognize that there's been a lot of sorrow. And he recognizes that he's responsible for these sorrows. But if you notice, the cups that are tipped over, and there are 3, yes, those were sad situations, cups being about emotions. but he also recognizes that there's two cups behind him. So there's more to this. He doesn't have to be so focused on that. That's the past. The next card is the Knight of Swords. This is a person that goes head first into things very fast. He may not give a lot of thought, which again, how is that? That works for some people. He's somebody who likes to grab life by the tail and just run with the risk. He's an explorer. So if his partners are on the same page as him, I can see where his relationships are very fulfilling and exciting for all parties. Some parties may not, there's always going to be somebody who wants out before the other or wants to stay in longer than the other. But for the most part, I think he seems to be taking his attention to people that are more in alignment of being on the same page as him. Today, where he's at today is the Nine of Swords. So with all those swords over his head, that shows a lot of mental stress. And I don't know if he's over any of his divorce proceedings, but I can't see how that wouldn't influence him on what he thinks about personal relationships and the investments that he's made in them, both, mostly from his heart and soul. But he doesn't take these situations lightly. They do weigh heavy on him. The next card is the Wheel of Fortune, and this is going more towards in the upcoming future. Wheel of Fortune he's somebody of great success. And he's also somebody, going back to the question, which is how does he see his relationships? He sees them as they go up and they go down. It's just a circular motion here. What was once up can go down. What was once down will go up. And he's accepted this because he's felt very deeply about everybody he's been in love with. So he understands the bigger picture of it and understands that he's, why would he change any of these things? They work for him. And other than legal issues that he's had recently, this guy is a good guy, and I'm sure that any of his partners would not want to have, even though the experiences may have been painful, I'm sure they would all do it again if that was the only option of being with him. The next card is the King of Rods in reverse. Now, when the King of Rods is upright, this is a person of great creativity. This is a person who's on fire and loves to conquer things and has a real strong drive. Very innovative, very entrepreneurial. So a lot of those kind of qualities. When it's upside down, this king may be putting himself in a position going forward where he may end up putting himself on fire and needing to transmute himself and going through some sort of alchemy, because he is reflecting a lot. He's reflecting a lot on his past and how he's going to take these things going forward. And also, because I ran his chart and looked at his numbers, he's going to be moving also into his Saturn return soon. So he's right at the very cusp of starting it. So this is a time of reflection and looking at his past and seeing what he could have done better. And he's not afraid to take responsibility. So wrapping it up with the tarot, we can see pretty much how the last couple of decades have unfolded for him. So how about if we add 3 cards from the Lenormand deck? Now, tarot deck is 78 cards and has the major arcana and the minors that take you through all the facets of life. When you use a Lenormand, there's only 36 cards in that deck. And so to me, I find them to be more specific. So if we could lay out 3 cards, one to represent the first 2 cards, and then one to represent the middle, and then the third card to represent the next 2 cards. What we have here is the garden is underneath the first 2 cards, which is the past. He had the world as his oyster. He had all these people wanting him. So that's a lot of power. That's a lot of energy that's being put on him. That's a lot of ego. So, I mean, it would be a rare person who would not go charging into those situations. And then in the middle, we have what is the now, him going through some kind of mental stress and trying to filter or to correct some of the things that weigh heavy. He's going to have success with that. He has the star underneath it. So he'll rise above that. You know, he'll rise above, and he's still going to be a shining star. He's still going to be somebody of success when seen with his relationships, in view of his relationships. Now, going forward, the next 2 cards, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the King of Rods reverse, we have the mice. So I'm seeing that he's still going to suffer and cause a lot of anguish with the mice. When you have the mice in Lenormand, that is a situation. What are mice known for? They're known for gnawing through things. You know, sometimes this card is also seen as the thief. So, but I'm taking it that these things are not easily going to be pushed to the side. They're going to stay with him for quite a while. These past mistakes or error in judgments, or how he may not have felt he was at his best in resolving these issues. They may still be issues that come and gnaw away at him, either through his own guilt or through other things, other relationships in his past, or the relationships he's in and will continue to be in going forward, where that may always be an Achilles heel for him, to deal with these personal relationships for too long. So that is my take on what is Brad Pitt's belief on personal relationships. I hope you enjoyed this little short segments and you join us for other ones. Please hit subscribe and like, and follow us here on YouTube and on Facebook with Crow Readings. Thank you.